Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys is another Star Wars discussion type video. I think my last one where I answered 4 vital questions on Star Wars has been pretty good. They're almost 50 views, so I think it's okay, you know. A few people are watching it. That is a very important video though. If you really are a big fan of Star Wars canon and you have some questions about a few things, but especially Rey and Kylo Ren, how they can heal. It's not a cop-out. It isn't Disney being stupid or anything like that. It has a real reason. So please go watch that, and I explain a lot. But today I wanted to kind of bring up kind of a suggestion, because I read an article and I saw a YouTube video on this one guy. I'm not going to name any names, but he is a super popular Star Wars YouTuber. And he was talking about Star Wars movies and all that, ranking them, and of course he thinks Last Jedi is crap. I mean, who doesn't, right? And it's kind of discerning, but this isn't going to be revolving around The Last Jedi too much. It's going to be revolving around Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, and Rey Palpatine, or Rey Skywalker, whatever. And really the question is, really it's a very broad question, but what makes a good character, or what makes a good hero, so to speak? And I'm thinking about that because I'm really going to retain it to Star Wars to make it very valuable, but you know, kind of to you guys. But think about it. What makes a good character a good hero? Is it the fact that they're perfect all the time and that they never make mistakes and that they're essentially gods? Or does it go deeper than that? So, with regards to, let's just say Anakin Skywalker first. You have Anakin Skywalker, which is played by Hayden Christensen and that other guy, Matt, whatever, in Clone Wars. And of course, Jake Lloyd in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. But essentially, there's a big character arc for Anakin Skywalker. And again, if you watch the Clone Wars animated content, it is canon. It really does, you know, broaden that universe. But, you know, Anakin, I'm not going to go into it too deep, but everything that Anakin does has kind of been a failure in a sense. And, you know, he never was perfect. He became Darth Vader. He was the chosen one, and he did kind of reset the balance of the Force in the end. It was a little bit too late at that point. But it very much was where, you know, he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He tried to, and again, I mentioned it in my 4 vital question thing, but he tried to save Padme, and he tried to save his mom. He couldn't. Why couldn't he heal? Well, go check that video out. I'm not going to reiterate things. But essentially, he made a lot of mistakes. He was not a perfect character. That's why he's a good character, though, because he has so many, you know, F-ups and so many problems. He really does kind of sense that, that sense of, you know, okay, I'm not a perfect character, and I'm not a perfect person, but he did the right thing in the end. We take someone like Luke Skywalker, for example. This is the big one, Luke Skywalker. Everyone, this one guy, he was saying, oh, my childhood hero is Luke Skywalker, and to see what Rian Johnson did in The Last Jedi, it ruined my childhood. And it made me really mad, because I'm like, how are you a very popular Star Wars YouTuber if you can't even get your facts right? Now, you can have an opinion. If you didn't like Luke's arc in The Last Jedi, that's fine. But for you to claim that it ruined Star Wars, or it ruined your childhood, you're wrong, and it's very easy fix. You know, Luke has never been a perfect person. In fact, he's probably one of the worst people in all of Star Wars in terms of characterizing, because, you know, who is he in A New Hope? He's like 19 years old or whatever that, you know, he's very young, he doesn't really know anything, he's training, he's very clumsy, you know, whatever. It's to be expected, but he's not perfect. He never was that, oh, I just know everything, you know, I'm perfect, you know. He has to learn things. The Empire Strikes Back, he was very reckless. He kind of goes into things when he shouldn't. He gets very mad all the time. He gives up too easily. Again, pretty poor character for you to base your childhood role off of. And then, of course, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, he's very mad all the time. He's not mad the whole movie, but he cuts his dad's, you know, Darth Vader, Anakin, cuts his hand off. He goes to kill, beats the F out of Vader. He's about to kill him. He's about to give in to the dark side. A character that gives into the dark side, how can that be a positive role model for kids? And I know Star Wars is not for kids, but you know what I'm saying. You know, everyone saw the original when they were kids. It's like a thing. You're not really supposed to. They're pretty violent, but whatever. It is what it is. That's just how I operate. But, and then of course in The Last Jedi, Luke tries to kill Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, his nephew. Oh, he can't do that. He ruined my childhood. Well, let's just piece together what I just said. Luke was never perfect. He always made mistakes. Every time he uses a lightsaber, he fails. And yeah, he did destroy Jabba's barge and all that, but really, whenever Luke does use a lightsaber, he's not, like, trained. He's not like Anakin, where he has these awesome badass moves. You know, he's just Luke. He freaking goes like this all the time. You know what I mean? That's not practice. He's just winging the thing around. And yes, he's powerful with the Force and all that, but really, Luke, every time Luke tries to do something pretty big, he fails, except for when he throws his lightsaber down and chooses not to fight his father anymore and kill him to give in to the dark side. That right there is why Luke Skywalker is a great character. However, just because you're a good character doesn't mean you're God. You are a God. You are perfect and all-knowing. Luke Skywalker is not a God. He's just a normal human. He makes mistakes, but the good thing about him is that he learns from them. That's what makes a good character. Not that they're perfect and they're all-knowing and that they're gods. The fact that they make a lot of mistakes, but they learn from them and they grow from them. That's what makes a good character a good hero. So for this person to be, oh, Rian Johnson ruined Luke and it killed my childhood. No, it really didn't. I don't know how you can be a big Star Wars fan YouTuber if you can't even get your facts right. Again, you can like Luke's arc in The Last Jedi, and you can dislike it. That's fine. But for you to say that it ruined the character of Luke, you really don't understand the character of Luke. He was never perfect in the original trilogy, and he always makes mistakes in those 3 movies. However, in the end, he learns from them. What does he do in The Last Jedi? He tries to kill his nephew. Why? Because it was out of fear. He knew that if he didn't kill Kylo Ren, he would essentially become the new Darth Vader in a sense, and it would bring about the fall of the Republic and the Jedi. It's like a never-ending loop. And Luke, for the briefest second, goes, "I can end this guy. I'm about to end this guy's career," type shit, you know. And he's about to kill him, but then he goes, "Wait a minute, oh crap, I made a mistake." But at that point it was too late. Ben Solo sees it, and so really it was Luke's fault. Luke Skywalker caused Kylo Ren, essentially. And yeah, it was Snoke, and really we now know that Snoke is like a puppet for Palpatine, and that's all great and good, but it really was Luke. So Luke effed up, again. Newsflash, Luke is a human. Just because he learned from his mistakes in The Return of the Jedi does not mean that he will never make mistakes again. His biggest mistake was fear. He saw in Kylo Ren that he would do some pretty crappy things. And he caused those pretty crappy things. And that's why he went and hiding on the planet Ahch-To. He knew that he caused the First Order. And that he didn't want to help. Not because he didn't want to help. He didn't go and help the Resistance fight the First Order because he knew that he couldn't do anything. That, you know, fear kept him on the island. If I go and help, I'll just wave my lightsaber around and it'll cause a whole new thing. You know, so he kind of got rid of the whole equation right there. And in doing so, made the whole thing worse. But then, of course, Yoda happens, and if you watch The Last Jedi, you'll know that he learns from his mistakes, he owns up to them, and in the beginning of the movie, he's a hermit who doesn't want anything to do with, being a Jedi because of what happened to him in his past and what is happening now because of him. He then steps up and goes, you know what, I'm going to change this, I'm going to make things better, and I'm going to die, well, not going to die, but when he does die, he dies with peace and purpose, like Rey says. And it very much is peace and purpose. He dies with peace. The most peaceful way you could go. And purpose. He let them escape. And why is Luke in The Last Jedi so amazing and not bad? Is that he does make mistakes. He does F up. But what happens? He learns from them. And that's what makes a good character a good hero. Not the fact that, he's perfect. And yeah, you don't have to like Luke's arc again, but for you to say that it ruined the character of Luke or it ruined your childhood, I'm sorry, but you don't understand what Luke Skywalker's character is. He's a great role model, not because he's perfect and he wins every battle. He's a great role model because he F's up a lot. And yeah, Anakin F'd up too, but, he really F'd up because he became Darth Vader. Luke Skywalker messed up, yes, but he learns from that mistakes, and that was what's amazing. Yeah, when he throws the lightsaber over his shoulder, that's not him going, F you Star Wars fans, like all these other baby haters say. It's him going, why do I want this lightsaber that I got my arm cut off with this thing? My father killed younglings with this thing. This thing is a freaking death sentence. If I pick this thing up again, who knows what kind of harm it'll, what'll happen to me this time. I don't want this crap. And then in the end of the movie, he realizes that using the same lightsaber on Crate, I'm not going to fight Kylo Ren. I'm just going to do the most peaceful, the best thing a Jedi could do, is fight without fighting. He stalls them and lets the Resistance go. It was the most non-fight, non-aggressive, peaceful thing you could do as a Jedi. That is what a Jedi is, conquering your fears. Luke says it in The Rise of Skywalker. Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. And he even says to Rey and Ahch-To, and when he's a Force Ghost, fear kept me here. And that's 100% true. He was scared. He didn't want to go help, not because he didn't want to help. He didn't want to help them because, what's going to happen this time if I go? Every time Luke does something, except for that one time, it backfires. And that's why people in the Star Wars world look up to Luke, because he did this one great thing. And he even says it, you know, I became a legend, Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, a legend, you know. And that's 100% true, you know. So while you don't have to like Rian Johnson's iteration of Luke, to say that it destroyed Luke or that it destroyed Star Wars, that Disney killed it, that's really a false statement. And I don't want to be kind of an a-hole here and tell you, you're not a real fan, but I mean, you know, if the points suggest to it, you know, again, you can have your opinion, but to make these really bold statements, that's just wrong, you know what I mean? You really need to look at it through, you know, Star Wars fan eyes without all this toxic baby crap hate, and just has a little bit of common sense. You know, Anakin's a great character, but he makes mistakes. Yeah, he really made mistakes being Darth Vader, but he learns from them in the end. Luke makes mistakes. He's bold. He's reckless. He's angry. He makes a lot of mistakes, but he learns from them. And that is what makes a good character a good hero. Rey, same thing. I'm not going to talk about Rey as much, but she's not a Mary Sue. She really isn't. I just don't understand that argument at all. She's another great character. Now that we know that she's a Palpatine, all this stuff happens to her, it's amazing. A scavenger on Jakku who believes she doesn't have a family. Of course, I'm not going to explain her whole history because just watch the freaking movies. But, you know, going with that, she learns from her mistakes. She's not even perfect. The reason why Rey is so powerful, yeah, she's a Palpatine, she's a dyad with Kylo, and she's the last of the Jedi. So 1,000 generations live in her. That's why she's it. Plus, she has training from Luke and training from Leia. So it all makes sense. She's not just powerful because she's a girl. She's powerful because there are explanations as to why she's powerful in the canon. Star Wars is not for dummies, essentially. The prequels and original trilogies kind of, and I'm not, you know, don't be, oh, you're calling me a dummy. No, I'm just saying that those movies are pretty easy to behold. The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and even The Force Awakens, require you to think outside the box of being a Star Wars. It challenges you as a Star Wars fan. And again, Anakin makes mistakes, but he learns from them. Rey makes a few mistakes, not a whole lot, but she's a great character, and I'll talk about that for another video if you want. But the big focus was Luke Skywalker. Yes, Luke makes a ton of mistakes in the original trilogy, and in the Last Jedi. But that's why we love Luke. We love Luke because he's not a god. He's not some Force Unleashed guy that, you know, blocks all these lightsabers or blasters and kills everyone. We love Luke Skywalker because he's a human, and that's what makes him a legend. He stared down pure, raw hatred on Kylo Ren, and the entire First Order. And he did it without hurting anyone, and he still won. That's what makes Luke's character a great character. So again, to summarize, what makes a good character a good hero? It's the fact that they're flawed. You know, you can relate that to any hero. Iron Man, Emmett from the Lego Movie, Lloyd from Ninjago. So many, a lot of characters in franchise history and, you know, lore have a lot of flaws, and that's what makes them good characters. So this one YouTuber was like, oh, Rian Johnson ruined Luke. He was really angry and pessimistic. Well, first of all, he had a reason to be. And it really is great with the character. He was in character the entire movie. You know, he really was. You know, why else would Luke be on this planet if not for some sad reason? Oh, I just wanted to chill here with some hot babes? You know, as much as that's what I would want to do if I was Luke. You know, get some Twi'lek girls and be, all right, you know, we're cool. But the reason is much more complex and much more, you know, sincere than that. And that's why I love The Last Jedi so much for many, 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 many other reasons. Well, okay, I'll just say this. I love all the Star Wars movies, all 12. I love everything Star Wars. I really don't have any big issues with any of them. The prequels have issues, but, you know, I generally still love them. So, again, if you don't like The Last Jedi, that's fine. But for you to say that Luke's character was ruined or that he was out of character, it really is a false statement, and I hope I can help you understand that. There are other YouTubers who say the same thing. Again, I'm not trying to say your opinion's wrong. You can believe what you want to believe. But these big, bold, brash statements of, you know, that's wrong. Luke's supposed to be this way. No, Luke was always that way. Yeah, Luke never was, as, you know, people think Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy was like the equivalent of SpongeBob SquarePants. Happy-go-lucky, jumping down the streets, singing and dancing. That's not what he is. Yeah, he wasn't brooding like Batman or something, but he made a lot of mistakes, but he learned from them. Same thing in The Last Jedi. Luke created Kylo Ren, but he did what he could to fix it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Luke really should have been there before, but that's the whole reason why the frickin' Force Awakens movie even is a thing. That's why they're looking for Luke. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be a movie. Come on, use your brain here. You know? So, we can remember, Star Wars is just a movie franchise. We can't really think about movie franchises as real life because we can't play the what if. Oh, well, what if Luke was. Well, he wasn't. He was on Ahch-To because he made a mistake, and he felt accountable for that, and he was scared. He learned from his mistakes, and he died peacefully, and now he's able to poke fun at that. Like I said in The Rise of Skywalker, he's a little bit more happy and jokey, and he smiles a little bit more at Rey. He's at peace with himself, you know. He realizes that he made a mistake, and he atoned from that, you know. Fear kept him there. He conquered his fear in the end. And that's the destiny of a Jedi. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.